Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I hope everyone is doing very well. I hope everyone had a really good weekend. Welcome to the December live film resume review. I got a lot of resumes this month. Probably, I don't know. I think that we can get through them all. We're going to get through them all. I got a lot, but I think we can do it. I think we can do it, guys. So if you are joining me, let me know where you are joining me from. I know I have 6 resumes that we're going to do. I squeezed one in. I was hoping for just 5, but I definitely got 6. So who am I to be like no to somebody, right? So I hope everyone had a good week. I just got off an overnight on Friday into Saturday. I think I got to bed at like 5:15 in the morning, and I didn't really do much yesterday with my day besides rest, make sure I nourished myself because, man, gotta say, when catering is not very good on a show, it really does, it does you in. Your body gets really, really tired. Welcome, Joe. Welcome, Rachel. Obi-Wan Martin, I believe your name is Sean. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure your name is Sean. I try to remember everyone's names. It's so hard. So welcome. Joe, Rachel, and Sean. Actually, wait, Sean, did I get your resume in here? Oh my God, wait a minute. Wait, I gotta put yours there. I definitely did get your email. So I want to make sure that I got everyone. I'm getting a lot of people from Canada nowadays, Rachel. So I'm like, the way that Set PAs and all of that work for Canada is very, very different from how they function in the U.S. So all the resume advice is definitely going to be the same because resumes, right? So, hi Bart, hello native filmmaker, Alex. I love the fact that I have so many people from all over the world. It just makes my heart sing. So, before I get underway, I just want to make sure that I have Sean's resume. I know I was supposed to do it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get it in there. Wait, I definitely will fit it in. Let me just make sure I saw it. I need another, Did I? There we go. Okay. Moments away, guys. Moments away. I feel like I'm on set. There we go, Sean. Okay, I have it. There we go. Perfect. I just want to make sure I put it on my desktop so I don't forget. And just by the little icon, Sean, I feel like it is massively changed since last time because I see a little color in there. It's really, really great. So I hope everyone has had a good week. Next week, I do 3 days next week, and I'm here for it to work only 3 days next week before the holiday. This will probably be my last live stream before the end of the year. So next year we'll come back, we'll do a January film review and some other live stream topics and stuff because I do like live streaming and I don't really have a video coming out because it's Christmas, guys. It's December 18th. I hope everyone got their shopping done because I did a lot of shopping before I went to set on Friday and online shopping, whatever. Either way, you got to make sure it ships to you guys on time. I sent my Amazon wish list to my family on the 18th, and they were like, Amber, what kind of late, last-minute Christmas shoppers do you think we are? So if anyone is shopping for Christmas, just make sure you have it done. Today is pretty much the last day, I think. All right, we got the coffee. And let's jump into the first one. No, Sarai is my first one. I have prioritized my resumes because I am getting a lot more. I have to make sure that, I got to put them in some type of order. Now, Sarai is a alumni of Beyond Film School Set PA Training. I love my trainees. They always come first. They are my priority because I want them to know that I am behind them and I support them and I'm their mentor and they can come to me at any moment. Some people are like, yes, they tap into me as a resource. And then some of the trainees I have are just like, okay, bye, Amber, you did what you had to do, and I never see them again. But then I get updates years later, and they're doing amazing things. So either way, I'm happy with either way. But Sarai submitted her resume. I don't know if she's on, but she knows that she can watch it. So if you are, if you submitted your resume, I think most of you guys are on that submitted. But if you miss it, it will be in the replay, and I will send those links to people if you don't know where to find it for sure. So yes, Shannon's here. I think I got everyone here. This is really, really great. Okay, so the first thing I want to say about Sarai's resume is I love how her name is nice and big. Now, I know Sarai's personality, so she has a giant personality, and I feel like in my Set PA class, she really set the tone for the whole class. And that whole class really opened up because she was open. So she was a very big influence in the class. So I feel like I kind of expected a little bit more personality out of her resume, But I do like her name is nice and big. There are lots of lines. It kind of, for me, like the production assistant credits kind of run together. So but I'm okay with that because it's one section of PA credits, right? It is very, very obvious that all those credits are her as a set PA. So I have no problem with how she did it, but I really want to see the name of the show or the project italicized and in quotes. So I know that is the name. So Sarai, we got to work on that. Let's see. I really want to see some of this stuff like spaced out. Let's like use the tab key a little bit more so we can start like breaking some of this information up. Also, I will say I'm kind of jumping around a lot, which is fine because my eyes are going different places and my eyes aren't like overwhelmed by it. So that's a good thing. I do like how she put Philly, New York, and Atlanta. I don't know how she's bouncing around to all these to all these cities because I know she's from Philly, but she goes to school in New York. That's why she works in both of those places. But Atlanta, she's making her way down to Atlanta. So I will say this, Sarai, just be careful about where you put your location because people are going to be like, well, what city do you work in? You know, Philly and New York are close to each other, but Atlanta is a hike, right? So I just want to make sure that you have a handle on where you're trying to work, and some people will be like, well, where are you based out of? So that might count against you with some people. And fully vaccinated and boosted, like I don't mind that it's there, and I feel like you put it in a spot where you're filling a space, and that's fine. But I feel like everyone now who works in film is pretty much fully vaccinated and boosted, but the fact that some people, they have to ask. So it's like kind of useful to have that on your resume. It's not a bad thing. I wouldn't put it on mine because I know it's just a conversation that COVID's going to have with me anyways, the COVID department. So if you have the space, put it. If you don't have the space, like I don't mind it. So I love her, like her personal statement there is short and sweet and to the point. And I kind of like how that one word camera like stands out. The word camera stands out. It's like it in most cases, what I will say is that for some reason, like you want everything on one line, right? But then you run into the problem of it looking too uniform, and then it kind of like bleeds in your eyes, like glaze, like it bleeds together and your eyes glaze over, right? So the fact that it's like camera exclamation point, it makes it stand out a little bit more. I kind of like that it's like two lines. If I can probably get maybe a couple more words on that second line, that'll be even better. So this is probably the first time I've actually been like, hey, make your personal statement just maybe 2 words longer. Like, I want it just a little bit longer. But I love what she says, a local professional actress in the tri-state area who loves to be on set, even when she is not in front of the camera. That is so straight and to the point. It's like, yes, I'm an actress, but I love being on set and I'm going to kill it. Like, I love that she says this. And a really, really great story about Sarai is that since she is from Philly, I had a contact in Philly and my Philly contact was looking for people. And I was like, Sarai, I think you and her will really get along. She got on a show in Philly through a friend of mine. And then what ended up happening is that she talked to the producer. And they were like, hey, what do you want to do? And she was like, this is a long story short. There's like so many other details that are in this. But they were like, hey, what do you want to do? She's like, well, I'm really an actress. And she got like a role. She got like a speaking role on the show. And I was like, what? Like, I am here for all the wins that my Set PA trainees like go through. Like, I love that. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I just feel so happy for her. So the education section, I do not like how it's numbered. I don't know how anyone else feels. And what I do want you guys to do that are joining me and watching and participating in the chat is that if you put your first impression of this resume, it is going to help the person so much. My first impression of this is like, okay, it's pretty good. It doesn't bother me, but it definitely could be better. Right? It seems it's a little bit organized, but it could be a little organized just a little bit more. But the fact that it's numbered under education, like I'm not sure why it's numbered because you don't use numbers anywhere else. You know what I mean? And I'm just not sure. Sarai, like, I feel like me and Sarai, like, she'll tell me. She'll totally tell me, like, this is what my motive was behind that, maybe to break it up, maybe to, like, make it stand out. But what I will say is this, Sarai, you need to put your education down at the bottom, baby girl. honestly, you have so many credits now. Like, you have stacked your resume, and I'm so proud of you. Like, since she did the Set PA training in last February, like, I think that you have so much more experience now that your education does not need to come first. I don't care if you're still in school. It doesn't matter. Put all that stuff down at the bottom. Like, and I believe Alumni Academy at Palumbo, I believe that's your high school. And if that's your high school, take it off. You don't want high school stuff on your resume. Like, I don't want that. Once you have like work experience and you're in college and you're gaining your experience and you're like, even if you're post college, I don't want to see high school stuff on your resume. So definitely take that off, take the numbers off, and put your education down at the bottom, because you have a lot of credits that you can really like show. Like, this is great. And I would probably bullet the production assistant credits just to make it a little bit more organized and uniform, but you don't have to, because it's a little different of a section and I see what you're doing. So let's get to the qualifications. I love qualifications is a funny word. How am I qualified to do the job that I'm applying for, right? Like, what is it that is about me that makes me qualified for this job? So qualifications can go into your skills, into your hard training, into your soft skills, like characteristics, whatever the case may be. And she chose to kind of use it in a very broad spectrum type of way, like swift problem solver, which I think is a fact. I have met her. That is a fact. I love how that's first. Represent professionalism. I think I would take that out. Because I feel like that might be just like, it's not killer, right? It's not killer. So I feel like that can go. So positive, bubbly personality, that is a fact. I love that she put it there. It's like, there's a element of honesty that I do love about that. Works well alongside producers. I don't know how I feel about that, because that makes me think you're sucking up to producers and nobody else, and it kind of makes it seem like since you work well alongside producers, like you don't work well around anyone else, and that is not the impression that you want to give. So I would kind of reword that. That can be seen in a very weird way. I don't know how anyone else feels about that sentence. Works well alongside producers. What I also will say is this: you're capitalizing every word and you're consistent, which I will not take a point off for, right? But you're capitalizing every word, and I don't think you need to do that. So let's just like capitalize the first like word of the sentence that you're using, not every word, just the first word of the sentence, not every word. So works well alongside producers, I kind of have a problem with that. So we need to either take that out or reword that in some other way. Great leader for children on set. I think you could expand on that you have experience working with children on set. I think that might go a little further than just saying you're a great leader for children on set. Very cautious, attentive, and tidy. I like that. Very precise, respectful, and selfless. I don't mind that. Knowledgeable of Philadelphia geography. I do like that, because some people are like, where are you based and how can you help me with my production? So I understand that. But then it might cause problems when people are like, but can you work in New York and Atlanta? That kind of like goes to that location thing I was talking about earlier. Handles, assembles, and disassembles camera equipment. Where on this, I mean, qualifications, if you're handling, assembling, disassembling camera equipment, I feel like this on a production assistant resume might not fall in line exactly unless you have like camera credits here somewhere. So I don't know if I like that or not, but it's kind of like maybe a little extra thing that you want people to know, which is fine. But also it's probably a little confusing, because it's like, are you PA? Are you in the camera department? But I thought you wanted to be an actress. Like, it kind of, the thing about resumes is that grammatically it's not correct. Shannon, what do you, grammatically it's not, I don't understand number, especially if there are, I'm going to go to the chat really quick since we're on, there are some opinions that we have about it's resume, Sarai's resume. Okay, just surviving snowstorm. Yes, Joe, I don't even know how much snow's up there. I'm going to Buffalo, so I cannot wait for the snow. I cannot wait. It has not snowed in New Jersey. There's like a dusting the other day, and that was it. Oh wow, like a lot of people from Wales. This is amazing. I don't like numbered, especially if there are bullet points later. Right. See, Sean has a point. Like, there's got to be this consistency in her resume where, like, if you're going to separate information, make sure you are using the same type of information separation. It's a lot of, like, shouldn'ts in there. Let's see. The caps I don't like. Right. It's, like, weirdly the cap, like, I just want it to be the first letter or the first letter of the first word. Same, I'm not a fan of the numbers and the caps. Grammarly, right. So yeah, it can be seen as kind of like an incorrect thing, but the consistency tells me that she just wants a certain style. But I know that it's bothering people's eyes. So Sarai, let's get the capital letters off of every word in your qualifications. Let's see. I'd have put the camera build under skills, right? I don't know how, camera build, right? The thing is, yeah, okay, like under her special skills, because qualifications, like that is not a qualification for you applying as a Set PA, right? So that might be under special skills. So I think I agree with Sean on this one. So liaison between Philadelphia neighborhood and the film industry. So that feels like that you might be dipping into location rep type things. Like that would be a locations department type thing. So special skills. Now, why are you italicizing special skills? Because it's special? I don't understand. Sorry, Sarai, I feel like I'm roasting you a little bit, but like, why did we italicize that? I just want to know. I love to figure out people's mindset when they put certain things on the resume. Like, I want to know the why. You know, I'm just so interested on the mindset behind it. So licensing U.S. driver, licensed nail technician, valid U.S. passport, other, able to drive, U-Haul, 6-passenger van, computer tech savvy. I don't know how I feel about all that stuff. Those are not special skills. Those are pretty much like your driver's license. Okay, you driving, yes, is a hard skill. I don't know about if it's a special skill. If you had a CDL license, I'm like, oh, that's a special skill, because not everyone can do not everyone has a class C CDL or class B or A or whatever CDL license. So I don't know how I feel about the U.S. driver's license, licensed nail technician. I'm not sure about how I feel about those. It's like that added bonus I know I told you about in the class where it's like, maybe you want to add some of those things that like people might need and like just some random, but the licensed driver and the U.S. passport, I think the valid U.S. passport, because I know some people are like, oh, I want them to know I'm ready to travel. If traveling were a part of the job, they would be asking you, right? So just think about that. Think about like, okay, well, if this was an international job, or maybe we, like for when I worked on The Best Man, we had to go to the DR. So at the start of the job, they were like, can you, do you have a passport to actually go to this country? And I was like, oh, yes. So if it's a factor, they'll ask you ahead of time or once they about to hire you. So I don't think you need to even put U.S. passport. Able to drive a U-Haul, 6-passenger van. 6-passenger van isn't the 6-passenger van like a minivan? If it was a 15-pass van, I think I would put it. I do like how it's not that she's grasping at straws, but she's like digging deeper to all the skills that she's trying to do, and I appreciate that. So the effort I can see in this. There are just some format things we need to change. That producer works well along producers. I don't really like that. But Sarai's resume has really come a long way. I will say that. So Sarai, if you have any questions, definitely email me. She'll text me right away, probably right after this. So if you have any questions about this, and everyone has any opinions about this, please share it in the chat. Let's see. I put the camera build under. Well done. Thank you. I'm going to go to the chat really quick. It's always great to chat with people. Oh, God. Same. Okay. Now it's like, I remember like all the chat would be like things like directed toward me. So if you have a question to me, make sure you at me so I know it's for me, because I'm like trying to read all these things. But I appreciate you guys interacting with each other. I love it. Okay, let's see. You'll see my resume and review. I have almost no experience in the biz yet, so just starting out. Any Canadian contacts I can make, the better. That's amazing. Yes. I love if any of you guys connect with each other. This is what it's for, and this is why I do this. So Sarai, not a bad resume at all. So I'm gonna move on to the next one. Now, Joe, I know you said you wanted to fit in your resume, but the thing is that Joe Tapenko, I hope I'm saying your last name right. Good Lord Jesus, Joe. I only say your last name because it's in your username. So what I will say about Joe is that he is a member, and he's a channel member. So he has had his resume on a live resume review. Not last month, maybe maybe my first one in October, and he's a member, so he gets priority status, guys. Even though we've looked at his resume, and this has changed since the last time I saw it, which is lovely. Kept the blue in, love that. If you got rid of that color, I would have been mad. I love, love, love the look of the resume. Like, just looking at it, like, at first glance, I'm like, oh, this is great. I would hire this person. I'm not even reading any of the stuff because some of the things just pop out so well that I don't really need to dig for it. You know what I mean? So I don't really have a lot of notes, except I'm not really sure why you put union and non-union. I don't know if you need to put it. I don't know. I do put it on my AD resume. I definitely separate my DGA experience and my non-union AD experience. So I don't know. Joe, what's the reason why you put non-union or union? I think maybe some people want to know. But the one thing I love how you put like real small next to the italicized and in quotes name of the show or movie. You have like in parentheses the type of thing it is, which is perfect. I love that. I almost missed it. I was like, oh yeah, it's there. So I love how it's divided up into assistant director and production assistant underneath. Like you have to, even if, for example, let's just say that Joe had maybe 2 or 3 AD credits, and maybe they happened in between the PA gigs, and maybe his most recent PA gig was being a key PA and whatever, right? What I'm saying is always put your resume in hierarchy order, right? So if he had been a first maybe a year ago, that would be the first thing like I would start with, like, okay, first AD, then second AD, and then production assistant type of it, like in the hierarchy of. I like how you put assistant director and then you put production assistant. I don't know, because we had a debate about this, Joe. We had a debate about the number of days that you had worked on this project. Take it out. Like now I think I've decided. Like I don't know why I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but take it out because I feel like it limits your experience. It's putting in the person that is reading this resume, it's putting in their mind that you have only those amount of days experience. So it's like implanting a limited belief in their mind about you, and you don't want to do that. So take the days out because I feel like there's so much information. It's so well organized. Like just take out the number of days and I wouldn't even worry about it. Oh, Shannon, you sent me a revised resume right now. Girl, do you know what I have to do to get the resume on OBS right now? Okay, so I'll need a minute before I get to yours. I can't remember where yours is at. Yours is down the line. But, okay, so hopefully I can do that really quick when I'm on this. Like, do me a favor, Shannon, black out your last name and your, like, email and phone number. And then send it to me again. It'll send me like a good like minute when we're on this live stream. So, Joe, I love your resume, and wait, so did you have a UPM on any of those jobs? It looks like you did not have a UPM on any of those jobs, which is like, usually the UPM would be listed if you're a second AD, which is not, it's okay, Shannon, it's all right. Usually you would put a UPM, but if there was no UPM and it was just producers, that's totally fine. Sometimes on non-union gigs, that's just the way it's gonna go. So I do like how you have the people that you worked for, and it shows that you've worked for a number of people multiple times. So that means that they like hiring you, they like working with you. So that's really great. Yeah, definitely. Like you're saying, like there's no UPM on the shorts. So yeah, like I've definitely just had producers I worked with for sure, and they're kind of just like covering all the bases. So I don't know. Okay, Sean, I don't know if this is hydration because this is coffee, but I do have my water and I have tea for when my voice starts to go. So I'm like fully prepared for this live stream, and I ate breakfast before I did the live stream. Y'all are gonna be proud of me. I ate breakfast and everything, so I'm not starving. Okay, so I mean, I don't really have a lot besides when we get to the work history. I like that it's there because it's a point of information for you that you want people to know about you. Like I got that fucking discipline, y'all. Sorry. So I do like how this work history section is here, but what I really, really want is for you to move October 2013 to present and make it aligned with where you put your first ADs and producers you worked for. Just make it aligned with that. And that will make me so much happier. And I think that's pretty much the only thing I see wrong with it. And I love how you use this walkie icon at the bottom. I love that too. So I mean, this is a really, really great resume. Let's see. My current goal is to develop my skills as an assistant director and earn qualified days for a DJ membership. I feel like you have a lot of days to go. You have so many more days to go. Like, what do you got? It's 55, 65, 75, 131, 133. You're like maybe 133, 50. Yeah, you got a long ways to go, unfortunately. Got a couple years before you get into DGA. Whew, but you know what? You can do it. I know you can do it. If you hustle, you can do it. Totally do it. Okay. So, Joe, I don't have a lot of things. Just maybe that October and take out the number of days. Take that out. I don't know how you guys feel about the days, but I definitely want the days off the resume. I think it's just like, it limits you. Because if you take those out and then you take your resume for what it is, it's like, holy shit, you have so much experience. You know, and I think it's all about winning. And you don't want anyone to think that you can't do something based on the number of days you worked. You know what I mean? So I love it. Moving on to the next one. I spent a matter of like probably 10 minutes on your resume. Not even like 8 minutes on your resume, Joe. All right, we catch up on the chat. Let's see. Sorry. If I were to do the union, non-union bit into, I'd also reorganize it too. I don't know. I think it's the way it's organized. It's totally fine. I don't mind it because then you're going to run into these areas of like, oh, well, this was non-union. It's like, I'm okay with how it's organized. So unfortunately, Sean, I just have to disagree. I am going to disagree with you on that. So apologies. We're not always going to agree. Calabasas, where's that? Oh my God. Where is that actually? I feel really bad. I don't know exactly where that is, guys. I'm so sorry. Right. So the naive filmmaker, I wouldn't have the number of days for sure. Okay, nice. I just had homemade pizza for dinner. Coffee does count toward your daily water. I don't think it does because I don't know. I never count my coffee as my daily intake. I have like a little counter I do to make sure I have like 120 ounces of water. Let's see. No days. Okay, so I think we're all agreed, Joe, that we're going to take the days out. We're going to take the days out, and we're going to just align the October, and then there's like this like perfect resume. Oh, and also, not to blow up Joe's spot, but he's going to be taking my Set PA training. This guy is coming all the way from Alaska. So I have one spot left in my February training class based on the people who have signed up. So, okay, Cali. Okay, what? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sean, for telling me it was in California, Calabasas. I was like, I don't know where that is. Join me from California. This is amazing. So in my Set PA training class, I have one spot left, and Joe is going to be in my class. He's coming from Alaska. I can't even believe that. I have people coming from Georgia. I have people coming from Virginia. I have someone coming from, there are people from all over. I have like 3 or 4 coming that are from the New York, New Jersey area, and I'm just like blown away every time someone like comes from afar to come take my class. I'm always like, oh my God. I'm just always just amazed, really, really amazed. And I had someone come from Colombia one time, and also she's doing very, very well in like the film industry now, and I'm like, I can't even believe it. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I'm bragging about my Set PA training class. All right, so we're on to Rachel. Now, Rachel, I love how you use green. I was a really big fan of the fact that you use green. Most people use like a maroon or like a blue. The fact that you use green, for some reason, makes it stand out even more when it comes to color. Like I had Natalie, she was in my Set PA class, and she used pink on her name, and I was like, yes, I fucking love the pink. It was amazing, but it was a subtle pink. But the fact that you use green, I really kind of like it. Now, we're going to talk about the format for a bit because it kind of bothers my eye slightly. And I don't know how everyone else feels about this, Rachel. Sorry, Rachel, I just jumped into your resume and you're like, holy shit. Okay, so enthusiastic asset to any team seeking a career change from a typical, oh girl, take that out right fucking now. I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the thing, is that there are people who are like, no, we don't want a 9-to-5 office job. People who work in film could give a fuck about the 9-to-5 people and you trying to get out of your 9-to-5, okay? So I'm sorry, that's real harsh, so super harsh. I know you are enthusiastic and you're seeking a career change, but don't say it's from your typical 9-to-5 office environment. Please, Jesus, don't say it. I don't know why, but I don't know how anyone else feels about this. But it's kind of like, well, that really sucked, so I want to go to the fun film world. Does that make sense to everybody? Because I want to know that you're not trying to be in film just to have this escapism. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I want to know you want to work in film because you want to work in film, not because you're trying to escape your, like, the shitty career that you're trying to get away from. Does that make sense? Sorry, not to say you had a shitty career, but you know what I'm saying, where it's like you're trying to, the grass is greener, right? I need to know that you know what you're getting into, not because you are crossing into filmmaking because you think it's better. Where I will say people who like being on set are not office people. But I will say if you are an office person, you're not made for set. But not everyone who thinks they are made for set are made for set, and they can handle set, and they can handle set life. Because 9 to 5, if the film industry filmed from 9 to 5, only 8 hours a day, I would fucking love that. I would really love the fact that we only worked 8 hours. I would love it. So the number, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, the typical 9 to 5 office environment. I understand what you're saying, but there's something about that sentence that makes me feel like, well, no, I'm not going to hire you just so you can escape the job that you don't like, kind of thing. So let's rework that sentence a little bit. Okay, eager to gain experience as a production assistant, field officer post. Now, the problem I have with this is that field, office, and post are three different worlds, right? And even when you go from an office PA to a post-production PA, it's very, very different. Those are three different worlds. Either you're a set PA on set, which is, I guess, your field, which we don't really say field here unless you're doing reality TV, really. Unless you're looking for narrative, and reality are very different worlds. And they usually, if you do a lot of reality work, you're always kind of doing a lot of reality work. If you're doing a lot of narrative script work, especially even in narrative, there's like sections of like where it's like, if you work in movies, you're usually always working in movies. If you work in TV, you're usually always working in TV. It's hard to kind of cross over into both worlds, but some people do. I'm not saying it's impossible, but what I will say is you can't just have such a wide net. You're like, I'll take anything, which I can sense that from your resume, and that's not a good thing. So you have to kind of pick one, or make 3 different resumes where you're like, I am seeking or you could just say, eager to gain production assistant experience. And based on who you apply to, you can tailor it to that. Yeah, reality TV is tough, Joe. I'm like, I did it like a couple times, and I was like, oh, fuck this shit. Okay, and to find my place within the diverse and collaborative world of film and or television production. Oh man, Rachel, you are not jaded yet. There's so much you just don't know about film, and that from that one sentence, it's like, that tells me you have no idea what you're getting into. And that's fine. Some people like that because they can mold you into the PA or whatever they want you to be, right? So I don't know how everyone else feels about this. I don't know how everyone else feels about me personal statement or your objective. There's a lot of things I had a problem with because I really went hard on your objective. I don't know. Looking at, let's see, 51 Minds, did reality for 7. Oh God, I'm sorry, Ruben. I am sorry. Whew. Not jaded. Joe knows what I'm talking about though. Joe has that set experience and he knows what I'm talking about because I feel like you're really looking at the film world as it's like, it's my dream and I'm going to have so much fun, where I feel like your first day or first couple of days on not a real set, but like on a set where it's going to slap you in the face. You're like, this is what film is. You know what I mean? Whew, sorry. All right. So the one thing I do like about your format is that it's broken up and it's broken up and it's not disorganized, right? It doesn't feel overwhelming, but there is a lot of information. I know you tried to be concise. You use nice bullets. You're using different color. You're bolding your position, which is really, really great. Your experience, your education and about categories are like the same format. It works really well format-wise. I don't mind it. So let's just tap into your hard skills for a second. Bilingual, that's great. All Microsoft Office applications, great. Zendesk. MailChimp, that comes out of left field because I feel like we're never going to use MailChimp in the film industry world unless you're working in marketing and distribution, or if you are a entrepreneur of some sort. Like MailChimp, I understand it, but in film, like I use MailChimp because I'm an entrepreneur and I run Beyond Film School, right? But I never use it as far as my film career goes. So I don't know if that's an actual hard skill that you want to put on your resume. I think it's not needed. I think maybe it's just not needed. Your soft skills, it's like one there's like one extra, there's like 5 on one side. I really want them to be even for some reason. I just want one more hard skill. But when you take MailChimp out, then you're going to need 2 more hard skills. I really want them to be even. So your soft skills, adaptable, interpersonal communication, written and oral, leadership, patience, empathy, observant. I like all those hard skills. Those are really, really great soft skills. Like I love that you divide it up into hard and soft skills as well. So that's really great. Let's see. Now let's tap into your experience. Rachel, where are you from? Tell me where you're from. Let's see. Set PA field, third PA background. What the hell is a third PA? Because this might be terminology in a different city or state or country or something where you use this term and we just don't use it in New York and Atlanta and LA. So I'm just clarify what a third PA is. Because what I would do was I would just put background PA, background set PA. That's what I would do. Or, field is your set PA. So you don't even have to say set PA field. You just say additional set PA or whatever PA you were. So, I don't know. Television contracts. You don't have to put contracts. You just put television. But also I know it's television because you put S3, which is season 3. That's the International Film Festival of Ottawa. Oh, right. Okay. So you're from Canada, right? You're from, I just want to make sure because this is like, she's from Ottawa. Yeah, Ontario, Canada, Ottawa. Okay, good. So yeah, third PA, we don't use that terminology, but if you guys use it up there, definitely keep it. But I don't know. A third PA is definitely not the same as a third AD. That's for sure because the second is a third AD. So yeah, I'm just curious where the third PA comes from. Maybe you were like the second helper, which is the third PA. I love Shannon. It's great. So yeah, I just need clarification on the third PA. Let's see. Volunteer, greeter, ticket scan, set up and tear down. My chat is being annoying. Oh, okay. There we go. Canadian resident matching services, client relations officer, support, educate medical students, product, frontline email, phone, chat. See how I'm skimming? I'm not even reading those words because I just don't want to. I just don't want to. And other people will do the same thing that I'm doing. So leasing, administrator, accounts, payable. Oh man, don't even get me started on payroll. I was wrangling background actors. It's what they were putting me on the schedule as third PA. Well, okay, if they are calling you a third PA, then there's probably a terminology that they're using up there. Other people who work in Canada, if you can clarify, like what would be best for her to put there, because I'm just not sure. I mean, I definitely would just put like background PA or background wrangler. That's totally fine. So I think, or a wrangler. Yeah, I get it. So I think maybe, I don't know, third PA just makes it sound like you're just not a, I don't know. I feel like I'm a big advocate for making you the best you can be. So if you just put background PA, that's not limiting you to being like, oh, the third or fourth PA. So leasing, there's a lot here that I just don't want to see in your experience section. So the fact that you were a set PA and the fact that you were a background PA, that's good. That should go under your experience section. Now, the other stuff would just go under like work history. Because you were a volunteer at a film festival, that doesn't really fall into set work because film festival circuit, that's a whole other thing. So definitely, instead of saying third PA, just put set PA background. And if you want to put set PA field, that's totally fine. Just leave it like that. Yeah, third PA is definitely, it really is totally Canadian because I'm just like, well, I gotta like tap into my friend Laura Witt from her channel because she works in Vancouver, I think. She could probably shed some light on this. I wish I could just like call her right now and be like, hey, Laura, what do you think about this? So you definitely need to make a work history because you have a lot of work experience that is useful for them to know that, hey, you know how to train people, you know how to deal with certain issues, and you have customer service, and like you know how to deal with communicating and all this stuff. So I think that if you have a work history section, that would be better. So we can divide up this like information a little bit better. But I do like how it's in green. The fact that you were a supervisor, that's great. That shows you have like some type of leadership skills. It's great. I don't mind the dates. I wouldn't put them. Y'all know how people who watch my live streams and like watch my videos, you know how I feel about dates on the resumes. Like I don't think you need them. So Shannon's Lauren Witt official. I think I can probably find her channel. But yeah, I can probably add her. Be like, yo, I don't know what she's doing, but she works in Vancouver. She's like, I think she might be DGA or DGC, right? Yeah, DGC soon, because that's the Canadian Directors Guild. But I know she also wants to be an actress too. So, but yeah, so education is fine. And make sure you had nothing on below that. Education is fine, but you know what I don't like? As I know you're saving space here, because I think you're like running out of space. Yes, Shannon, she's a girl in Vancouver. Yeah, so you're saving space here, Rachel, and I know that's on the same line, but you don't want to break your consistency that you have with like education, experience, and about, because you have that on the same line and nothing else is on the same line as your category. So we'll just watch that. So I don't really have anything else. I feel like there's I like how you lead with your skills, right? Because that really, once I read your skills, I wanted to keep reading. Right, so I think we need to expand, we need to separate your actual production experience and then your work history, divide that up a little bit. And I don't even think, you can keep the bullets. It's not that much of writing where it like overwhelms me, but like where you have supervisor down where you're in, it's HMV CD warehouse, training new staff, merchandising, floor operations. Like that is so clear cut and to the point. I love that. It's like very, very concise. And that's what you want to do with all the other ones. If you could. If you can break down your job in 2 words or less, do it. All right, so I'm going to move on to my 4th resume. I'm like flying through these things. Oh my goodness. I have another person from Canada. From Ontario, Toronto, Ontario, which is like right across the lake from my hometown, Buffalo. So, okay, Ronnie, if you're here with us, please let me know. I don't know if you're here with us because I feel like the fact that he just didn't put a last name is, I find this to be very unique. And I was like, I guess I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. I like how everything is in this table. What I don't like about this table is if you guys look closely, and maybe I'll blow this up for you. I'll blow this up for you real quick. Right here where like the lines and the table, like it goes above that line, it's like outside the line. It really bothers me. Like I don't know why, but that really, really bothers me a lot. So like fix that table to be like even and like that little like lap over. Whew, it's too much for me. I can't handle it. Also, what I will say is that blank line within the table, I think what I would do is I would take away the left and right where it's just this blank square. I would take away, it would be separate tables. So that line is actually just a space and it's not just a line in the table. I hope I'm being clear on that. It's kind of like, I wish there was a way for I can point at this, like one little, like where the spaces are, get rid of the left and right border. So let's jump into, I like the way the information is organized. I feel like maybe make your name a little bit bigger. I want your name bigger than your category headers. You know what I mean? I don't like how it's the same font and same size as objective and experience. I want your name to just be a little bit bigger. And I know that you are saving as much space as possible because you've got a lot of information here. And that's fine. So, set dresser, are you trying to be a set dresser? Or, because it's like you have prop master, prop person, and then it's like you do a lot of prop work and then you have set dressing. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, is that the goal because your experience is kind of telling me different, or is it just, Oh, hey, Chad. Chad's back. Amazing. So I like how you have your website on there. But again, you guys have heard me say this, where I don't particularly like websites or links on your resume, but if it's like your website's just goforronnie.com, I think that's pretty cool. But again, I do stress that You want to make sure that you have your websites in the signature of your email when you attach your resume to the email that you're like when you apply for that job, when you send that email. You don't actually want to put it on your resume, but I understand there's room here. It's on the same line as your email and your phone number. Not a big deal. So that's okay. Now, your objective, a highly reliable and motivated person with top-notch communication and organizational skills seeking to find a way to make your life easier. I was like, blah, 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 blah. Wait, make my life easier? Sold. I don't know how anyone else felt like about that, but as soon as he was like, to make my life easier, you're hired. So that was I like how you put that. That was amazing. I really do like that. Okay, so since you're a set dresser, in this table, I am not mad. I am not mad that you used a table to organize your resume. I am a fan. That is fine. But are you using the table and just kind of filling in spots? We're like, hey, wait, I have this big gap here. What could I put there, right? Because the shot on section, don't really give a fuck unless I am camera. Unless you are trying to be in the camera department, then I would suggest putting the camera on it. But if you're not, if you're a set PA, if you're props, if you're sound, if you're like, what grip, who the cares what camera it is, right? I, as an AD hiring a PA, or I, as your lead man in set dressing or offset dresser or a production designer hiring you, I don't care what kind of camera it is shot on. Not to be like pretty blunt about it, but like, are you putting this here because you think it's useful? Because camera literally has nothing to do with your job. But maybe I might be being a little rough here. I'm not sure. I don't know. You guys let me know. Amber, you're being a little rough. I'm not sure. So network, that's fine because you're like Amazon commercial, short film, experimental, miniseries. Amazon Prime, is that the only one? I think you would say type of project or what's another way to put this, like medium or something, because you can't really call it network because all that, everything you have, the first one is a network. That's Amazon Prime. That is the network that it's going to be on. But everything below that is commercial, short film, commercial, corporate. Like, you know what I mean? I would put type. Maybe I would just put the word type because Amazon Prime, you would put just like Amazon TV show or something, right? Or was it because it was a TV show because you said Varsity Season 1. So I have a problem with you labeling network and then all the stuff below that isn't the network. So we should correct that. Days. And this is actually, I remember the last time I looked at Joe's resume, and let's bring up Joe's resume because a reminder how he put the days, right? And I was like, wow, this is the first time I've ever seen the number of days on a resume. Now, it's like we've started a trend of like putting the number of days you've worked. Like, I don't know where this is coming from. I find this fascinating, but also unneeded. I think just get rid of it. Dates, that's fine. I think the dates is fine. If you want to do the dates, by all means, but also again, I've said it so many times that I don't really care about these. I don't really care about them. So I guess I'm a little confused because you say you're a set dresser and you have a whole lot of prop experience. And I know that they work together and they're very close, like they're in the same truck when they load at the end of the night, like that type. So it's like prop and set dressing, and I know in Local 52 in New York, you can work as a set dresser or a prop person. Like you can kind of like, and you can be in, you know, those different, right, Joe, you are a trendsetter. Sean is right, Joe is a trendsetter. So I think that like they go together because it's like very, very, it's not the same. I will say set dressing and props are very, very different. They are not the same, but you kind of dip into both when you're kind of working for one or the other, especially like when you're an RPA, you kind of like go into different things. So I just maybe need some clarity on where you're trying to go. And I guess if I went to your website, I would probably know a little bit more. So education, I am okay with everything being centered because that is the theme of your resume. I don't really like when things are centered on resumes. I don't really do it unless it's like categories for some reason, like on my resume. I usually do left or right aligned. That's usually what I stick with. Education, I don't mind it. I would put that, I mean, it's okay where it is. I'm not mad at where it is. Let's see. Additional skills, proficient in Premiere. Why are you italicizing these things? Why, you don't need to italicize. The only thing you need to be italicizing is the name of the project you worked on, which you didn't do, by the way. You did not do. But the only reason why I gave grace to that is because you have a section called project name. That's the only reason why I didn't say, hey, you have to italicize those names and stuff like that. But italicizing like software, not really for it. Not for it. Let's see. Final draft, moving to magic, avid, excellent ability to problem solve, exceptional attention to detail, commitment to deadlines. I like that, commitment to deadlines. I have no problems with your additional skills section. Okay, certifications. All right. If you guys see what I'm seeing, why would I have vaccinated under certifications? Do you see what I'm saying? Maybe I'm a little dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded right now. I'm just like, what do you do? If you're vaccinated, I know you're trying to make sure it's on there somewhere, but it's not a certification. Being vaccinated is not a certification. Maybe it might be a point of information that you want them to know, but that is not the right section to put where you're vaccinated. So G2 driver's license, work and health. I don't even know what WHMIS is. I feel like it's somewhere, health something, COVID safe sets, experience driving U-Hauls, props 101, costumes 101, propane. All these things are fine for certifications. Working at heights. I feel like this is also some skills too. So certifications, trainings, or additional information. I have a problem with you calling it certifications and there's other stuff in this section. So it's kind of like you're doing a trick. You're doing like a slight bait and switch where you're like, this is what it is. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to put some more information here that you didn't know. So I know you're trying to fit in all the things without making another section. That's what I feel is going down here. I don't mind this resume, but I feel like we got to tighten it up. And I feel like you're doing this like, I don't know. I feel like you're sly. That's not the type of, like, that's not the impression I want to give off a resume where it's like, I'm going to try and fit it in where I can, where it's like, it's not charming. It's kind of almost like deceiving. You're trying to be a little deceiving a little bit, where you're trying to like put information in where it doesn't really belong. I don't know. So Ronnie, I hope you don't get mad at me about this. Just don't know. I don't think Ronnie's on the chat. I think he's going to watch the replay. But man, so I'm going to go to the chat really quick to catch up on all the things that are being said. Honestly, I think Joe is a trendsetter. Okay, so Licinema, it's for freelance work in general. Usually number of days is the only included if there are long projects that make the number of days look sparse. Yeah, I guess so, but like if I work the entire season, I work the entire season. I don't need to tell you I worked 180 days as a first team PA on Equalizer or something like however long it was. I don't know, it was like 7 months, how long that is. Advertising management resumes tend to do that, either a long list of jobs or a short list DOTs, gotcha. The only reason why I originally put days on my resume is because the DGA training program application required. Yeah, so what I will say about that, the DGA training program, they have a very wild resume application requirement where it's like they make you have your full work history, where my work history was like 3 pages long. So I had a 3-page resume that I had to submit to the DGA. So that, if you think about that, it's like, what do I tell you? 1 page only, no matter what. Like, I don't care what information you got to cut or what you have to do to make your format 1 page, but you have to make sure it's 1 page. The training program, they have different requirements because it's a very special application, so I understand. Yeah, I can't tell what this resume is tailored to. It looks too generic. It does. Like, all I know is that he's in set dressing and he's prop person and he's going to make my life easier. If I needed a prop person, I probably would hire him. If I needed a set dresser, I probably would hire him. I'm not going to lie. And it's like this added info of like the camera and the number of days. Like, I don't really need it, but also like, I guess if you have the space, why not put it? And I think maybe I'm giving too much grace here. Y'all are like, Amber, you're too forgiving. But there are some things about this format that table, fix that table for the love of God. Oh yeah. So you guys, since it's Christmas time, my nephew, sorry, I got really ADHD apparently. My nephew got me this mug a couple years ago. It's like the biggest mug I have. And I get to use it like once a year. And it's the biggest mug I have. But look at the little A, like Santa hat. I think it's lovely. All right. I'm going to go back to the chat before I keep ripping up this resume. Okay. I can tell which this resume is too generic. Yeah, it's perplexing, right? Like putting that you're vaccinated in the certification's not really a good thing. Oh, WHMIS is hazardous material handling certs, if I am not mistaken. Okay, that's good to know, because these are some things that might be in different countries that definitely are not in the U.S., unfortunately. So let me put my... I think the sun is coming in, y'all. Sun's coming in. No, it's not coming through this one. Sorry, guys. Okay. Gotta like lean over to make sure I'm in. The sun is like slowly moving. Okay, so Ronnie, is it through DGC Ontario running all the certs? If they were being even more sketchy, could title the 2 sections footnotes. I mean, honestly, Sean. That's so funny. Sorry. Rachel, as someone trying to gain experience and ultimately build a resume, how important is getting various certifications? Like, are those things valued when looking for a PA? It depends on what the certifications are. When I hire my PAs, I don't look for certifications. I will, if they have been in Set PA training courses, say they did PA boot camp, maybe they did the Tammy Set PA class in Atlanta, I would look into that like, oh, they've took a Set PA class. Maybe I would say, oh, that's a benefit that I don't have to teach them from, day one, green type of PA. They know what's happening. Certifications, like, I don't really look for them as a PA, to be honest with you, Rachel. So that's not something I look for. If it's there, I'm like, okay, great. But it's not going to help me put you in background or first team or make you my walkie PA or make you, an everyday additional. It's not going to. If you had customer service, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you can work with people. I need people who can work with people. I can't have like a recluse that's someone who can't interact with people properly. If you have great communication skills, that is something I look for. I don't necessarily look for certifications. I mean, if it's there, okay, great. But not really. Okay. Moving on to the next resume. Okay, Shannon. Shannon, you're here with us, Shannon. So, I like the font that you chose to use. Not everyone has this font. I like how your name is nice and big and how you had your information there. Your objective now. I thought when I first glanced at your resume, I thought this was a mistake because the lines that you have in your category headers, it's off. Oh, it is a mistake. It is a mistake. I see it now. So, so what I will say about this, Shannon, is that since you asked the certification question, is it depends on what you're trying to do. What your certification's like, if you're trying to get into other departments and you're trying to get into like camera grip and electric, then you have to have like your forklift and height. There's like so many safety things that you have to do, but that's if you're in a different department. And then I wouldn't be hiring you at that point because I would be someone. Okay, right. Now, okay, Shannon's corrected me. Go to the chat real quick. So she has a revised one. So let me go and get that real quick. Hold on 1 second. Girl, you have better blacked out your stuff to make this easier on me. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, hold on. And why is it not loading? Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see. I can do it though. I think you sent it to me as hold on, let me see. Moments away, guys. Moments away, I swear. Okay. All right. No, yeah, you sent it as a PDF. I don't know why it wouldn't open right away. I think it's just because I'm on OBS right now. Okay. Let's see. I have to... Okay. We will work with this one. Okay. She was like, Amber, don't use this resume. Okay, you forgot to black out your information at the bottom, so I'm gonna crop that out for you. Okay, so This is actually better than the other one. But, okay, so to my point that I just started talking about, I thought maybe you would correct this. Right? Because you had courses in there. Oh, you've changed it. So actually, since it's consistent, it's not a mistake anymore. So what I was going to say is that since the category header falls off the line that you're putting there, it looks like it's a mistake and the line doesn't go far enough. But since you did it throughout your resume, now it's consistent. So now it's not a mistake. So it's fine. I do like how everything is aligned, and actually, if I could just go back and forth and be like, look what she changed, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to focus on this one now, Shannon. Okay, objective. I do like how you have your category headers, but the problem that I have with the size is that the size of your category headers and your position run together as the same size. So your category headers have to be bigger than the font that you're using below it. Right? So let's try and make sure that they are probably 1 or 2 points bigger than your production assistant, post-production assistant, and selected work history. It kind of looks like it's running together. So I understand that you're putting your position first and you're bolding it, but it looks too much like the category header, so it's running together and it's not standing out the way you want it to. So let's just make sure that you make your category headers just slightly bigger, probably by 2 points than whatever I don't know why you have to put them in all caps. Let's not and that's probably what the problem is, because you put the category headers in all caps and then you put production assistant, post-production assistant in all caps as well. It's not, I don't think you need to put that in all caps. So let's just make sure that production assistant is just capital P, capital A. That's fine. Let's not make it all caps, because then you definitely have to make sure it looks different. I am currently seeking employment as a production assistant in the film and television. That's totally fine. It's not, I wish there was probably a little something else there. Now my coffee is cold now and I want it to be hot. I've been on this for an hour already, oh my goodness. But 5 resumes in an hour, that's not bad. So I am currently seeking employment as a production assistant in the film and television industry. I feel like I want something more. That's fine and it's very to the point, but I just want a little spice in there, something else. I need something else. But then you only have maybe 1 or 2 words that you can probably fit there. I want something else there. I want something more. Give me something more. I need a little bit more personality than just that. Okay, so productions. You should label that section experience instead of productions. Yeah, label that experience. Yeah, just a little bit more personality, Shan. I just need something else. Because it's not to be oh, it's boring, but it's just, I need something else. Because everyone, you know what I mean? Yes, in the objective, yes. So I feel like it just needs something. I need oomph. I need something else. Okay, so standing with the ancients, I assume is the title. We don't put titles like that. Make sure you italicize regular letters. Don't caps everything. Don't capitalize everything. Not in all caps. Italicize and put it in quotes if it is the title of the movie or project, always. Because I feel like you love some caps. You really do love capitalizing everything. And that's fine. That's your style. But when it comes to titles, italicize, quotes. Producers, I don't know. I feel like you just need your AD on this one. Unless you work closely with your producers, that's fine. I'm going to go to the chat list. Short-term and long-term girls are always nice to pat. Yes, true. I'm going to say yes. Just give me something, right? I think I totally listed them out. Yes. Short-term and long-term girls are always nice to pat and yes. Just one sentence, what are you hoping for? Something. I need something. It is boring. Shannon. Shannon's talking shit about her own red. She's like, it is boring. My Lord. Okay. Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm hurting anyone's ears. Okay, so make sure you italicize. You take the all caps away from the title of the movie or thing you worked on. Post-production assistant and production assistant, they're 2 different worlds. Post and being a PA is very, very different. Let's see. Selected work history. Just take selected out. I don't care if you chose to put certain things in there. I don't care. But I understand you put selected because you're gaps. I heart caps. See, girl, you love yourself some caps. Okay. You're saying that because you're trying to explain your gaps in work history. And I understand that. Just, I don't know. Okay, moving to Canada, video content creator and social media manager. You're breaking your format. I don't like this. Distribution representative and post-production assistant, producer assistant and assistant talent. Why are you not putting that in your experience? Video content creator? Like, okay, that can be in work history, but it's sort of related to the field that you've worked on. You've worked in the, like, okay, so for me making YouTube videos, it's not in the film industry, right? But I am working with a camera. I have to worry about hair and makeup. I have to worry about my lighting. I have to worry about my camera. I have to worry about my editing. So, like, that's still kind of the same world in a weird way. I feel like you're selling yourself too short here. Does anyone else feel this way? I feel like maybe you're just not. Also, in your production section, which we should call experience, your dates are on the right-hand side. And then your work history, your dates are on the right-hand side or the left-hand side. It's like opposite sides. I don't like that. Let's make sure that you are consistent with your format. So what I would do, take the dates to the right side, put video content creator and social media manager. That's the position you held. So I'm not sure why you're putting it under moving to Canada. Like, it's like over and then under. Weirdly not. It's almost like you're trying to hide it or something. Like, oh, you don't want anyone to know that you're a content creator or something like that. I'm not sure. But, and then you're a producer's assistant. I would put that under your experience, an assistant talent agent. Like, I wouldn't put it in selected work history. I would put it in experience. You're above. I think all of those things. I think that you don't need to make a whole separate section called work history. Does anyone else feel that way? I'm going to lean on Joe and Sean for this one because I feel like it can all be the same section because it's kind of all related. You know what I mean? Yes. So what my lovely chat is saying is that, you know, who you are, something interesting and what you want. That's perfect. That's the perfect thing. So, like, I guess I'm kind of confused on, like, what you're trying to do. But your work history, I'm just not sure. I don't know. I feel very confused by your resume. I don't know why. I'm like, it's almost like you're trying to highlight certain things, but then you're not trying to highlight certain things, because I feel like you being a video content creator and a distribution representative, like, that's some good experience in the film industry world, whether you know it or not. I guess maybe the fact that you don't know that, right? And I'm telling you that those three things I feel like it's definitely valued experience that you should put it, instead of productions, put experience, put it there. And you can just put your position and then the company you worked for, and I think that's fine. Yes, okay, Joe. Shady, like, girl, we're gonna fix your resume. It's fine. Okay, so Joe, I agree. Film experience for related work history for non-related work. Yeah, right. Exactly. So I think that all this work that you did is definitely related to the film world in some way, and I think you're selling yourself too short. And you're like, oh, but I shouldn't put it because it doesn't relate because I wasn't on set, but it's related. Right? If you worked at Target or maybe you worked at AMC theaters, I don't know why those are the first things that came to me, then that would be a work history thing. Or if you were a barista or a bartender or something, like, I would want to know that you knew how to deal with customers and stuff like that, but it's not experience, it's work history, right? Let's see. Yes, exactly. Good to know it's valuable experience. Okay, good. I think that maybe it's like you just don't know what is valued on a resume, right? And I think this is why we do this. This is why we do the film. This is why we do it, folks. Okay. Now, moving on to your education. BA, Communication Studies, that's fine. All that's fine. Again, you put your dates on the left side when I think they should go to the right. Like, you have to figure out what side your dates are going to go on. Pick a side and stick with it, okay? That's all I want. Pick a side and stick with it. That's what I want. Skills, social media management. Okay, here is the problem with this. You have a skills section, but your skills section is to make sure that you're highlighting things that was not highlighted in your experience section, right? So in your skills section, it's like an added where you're like, okay, well, my experience section didn't really cover that, so that's why I'm going to put it in the skills section. Whereas you told me that you were a social media manager, like in the moving to Canada thing, right? So I don't think you need to put skills. That doesn't belong there. Social media skills, right? Research, graphic design, video editing, project management, social media strategies. Like, again, like if you're a social media manager, I already know based on that, it's like you are working with social media strategies. So I would take those out because based on your experience, I would know that, right? Like I would already know that. Dependable, adaptability, personable, positivity, organized, problem solver, love all those things. And like how you kind of divide it up a little bit where it's like more hard skills and then soft skills. Perfect. I like the way but I kind of, so don't kill me. Don't kill me. Shana, I kind of want to see a third column. I don't know what you got to put there. I don't know what you should put, but I want to see a third column. Just fill that one little box. Fill the box here. Fill that empty space. I want to see something there. I don't know why I want to see something there, but I want to see something there. Utilize that space for something. I'm not sure what it is. But I definitely want to see something. Okay, software and tools. Proficient in, again, I don't know why people italicize software name. What is happening? Is this a trend happening right now? I have no idea. I'm not sure. Italicize software name programs. What is happening? We don't need to do that. We don't need it. Why? Someone tell me why this is happening. Like, why is it happening? Why are we italicizing names of software programs? I like that the programs are there and you have software and tools, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I like that it's there. But also what I will say is maybe that those software and tools, it's actually, those are skills, so that might just be your third section in your skills section, that like third column. Because I think you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. You have 6 things you can put right there. And actually maybe I might bullet some of these things just to, I mean, it looks nice the way it is, but maybe I would bullet those those 3 columns. I would probably bullet them. No, but they're like, no, Shannon, I feel like no. I know they're the names of the software programs, but I feel like, the only thing that should be italicized on your resume, unless it's dealing with a format thing that you're doing, is like the names of the project that you worked on. I have to, I could be, you can tell me I'm wrong and you can choose to do other things, but also like when it comes to names of shows, I guess the name of the program you were, fine, I guess, but I would put it in your skill section. I would put those programs in the third column of your skill section. Now, what you also did, I'm just going to show it really quick. Okay, yes. What you also did is you put another line, and then she put her contact information at the bottom. You don't really need that. Oh, come on, MLA format. Joe, don't give me that shit. Sorry. You may be right. This is a formatting, like proper grammar type thing, okay. But when it comes to your resume, like you're not writing an essay. This is not an essay. This is not like something you're submitting to a college professor. Like, do you know what I mean? We're not in school anymore, y'all. I'm just saying. So, okay. This is a debate we could go on for, if whether or not the names of programs should be italicized or not. But I would suggest to make it the same regular font that you use in your skills section, make it a third column because you have 6 things there and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. It'll fit perfectly in that section. That's what I'm going to go with. Okay? That's what I'm going to go with. And also, I don't mind that you put your email and all that stuff back at the bottom. That's okay. Not really needed, but I understand why you would put it. But so I guess, Shannon, maybe I guess the question is why you felt you needed to put it again at the end of your resume, just to remind them, like, hey, this is how you contact me. I'm curious as to why you put your contact info back at the bottom again. I'm gonna go to the chat because I feel like I've missed some things. Work history should be one big thing. Well, Chad, I feel like maybe you should elaborate a little bit because work history and experience, I feel, are very different things when it comes to your film resume. Right? because for me, work history is unrelated, and then your experience is related work. So I guess that definitely is a debate too. I feel this. It's hard when you're starting out to figure out what is valuable and what isn't. I struggled with this too. Of course, when I first got out of college, or if I were switching careers or something like that, I definitely was like, what do I put? So I just put everything on there. So it's kind of, you definitely have this battle going on where you're like, what should I put this? Should I put that? I definitely understand this. Like full on. So I don't include a skills section for mine. My listed experience already implies related skills such as the soft skills of being jaded. Literally. That's so funny. I may be outdated style-wise, but I have always seen italics used pretty specifically to reference foreign words or phrases. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think if it's foreign words, I understand that. That's totally fine. But I use words being italicized rarely. I don't want it to be too, it's not over, so I want to make sure it's not overused. You know what I mean? It can't be overused. Okay, so could be from educational centers. I know when I was in school, we were told to put things like that in italics. I then went to a CV clinic after college, and they told me don't do it. Exactly, right? Okay, so I'm not tripping out. Okay, Sean, you've just there's vindication there for me, so thank you so much. Should I label them hard skills, soft skills, software? You can do that. You can probably do that, but I feel like it's all kind of implied, where like you put it at, like your first section is like, those are your hard skills. We're really project management, I guess. Yeah, I would say that's not a universal skill, so definitely it's a hard skill. Dependability is a soft skill. So like, I don't think you need to spell it out for someone. Remember, the person hiring you, you're hoping is smarter than you in some ways, and they understand what you're trying to say. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna eat my words. Smarter than you? Well, you would hope they have more experience and they would get it, right? But for me, I get it. I didn't need it to be spelled out, right? So you don't have to like label it that way. I use the second email at the bottom for style reasons. Okay, that's fine. I have no problems with that at all. Style reasons, that's totally fine. If you put it there, it didn't hurt you because you had the space. So I was just curious on why you put it, but that's totally fine. I've never seen that before. So Shannon was a very unique style choice, which is fine. Like I didn't mind it at all. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I've never seen it before. So that was really cool that you put that. So kudos. I feel like when you have that one thing that makes you different, you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, so I'm going to hopefully adjust my shade so I can not be blinded by this light. Okay. So we're a little bit better. Okay. Right, so I'm not going blind. Great. All right, so Sheena, I hope that was helpful. And all the resumes I've done so far, I hope that was helpful for you guys. If it's not, I'm sorry. But I hope everyone that I've done so far, I hope it was helpful. All right, so we're going to move on to the naive filmmaker. Now, Alex, you were on the chat. I hope you're still with us. And Sean, we're going to get to yours because I haven't gone too long, so I definitely should fit yours in here. I want everyone in the chat to tell me right now who is watching. What is your first impression of this resume? Like, put it in there really quick while I get a drink. Tell me what you think about this, because I will refrain from telling you what I think about this, but I want everyone's first impression of what they think about this. I'm drinking some of my tea. You can look at the A. Oh, I got some ginger tea, y'all. I will say that, fun fact for you, ginger is like, I don't know, so something in ginger that keeps like the cold virus away or something. It like, for some reason, like ginger is like an amazing thing for the body. I don't know. Okay, I'm shedding, guys. I don't know. Sorry. I just want everyone to put what they think about this resume. I don't know how many people are joining me. Oh my God, ginger is so good for you. Got me ginger tea? Okay. So I'm going to go to the chat. We're going to talk about what we see here. So Joe is that legal, right? Is the legal size? I think it might have been, because I definitely had the same thought when I first opened this up, and I was like, did he go a few inches longer? Now, there was another person, I believe, Ammo, from my last live stream. Did she use legal? No, I don't think Ammo wouldn't have done that. So someone else used legal, and I was like, how dare you? How dare you use legal? Because what happens is when you use legal, now for anyone that's trying to figure out like legal and letter size, it's like 8 by 11 or 8 by 14, right? It has like a couple more inches, right? So with it being legal, what's going to happen is that you think that you're getting ahead and you're like, yes, I got one over on that person, but we can tell when it's longer, right? On most screens, on most phones, if it is letter size, it'll take up the whole screen, right? It'll take up the length of the screen. If it is legal, then one has to scroll. And when they have to scroll, whatever is on the bottom of that page is not going to be seen. You have to make sure that you fit it on a one page only letter size document. Even if you're talking about the digital world today, you fit it on that because you want all the information that you want to be seen as quickly as possible in the neatest way possible on that one page. If they have to scroll or go to another page, they're not going to look at it. So think about the person. If you were hiring someone and you were looking for, like, I don't know, say you're a producer and you're trying to hire a director and they give you like a five-page resume and everyone did that, you're not going to look at all the 4 pages or the other 2 pages or the other page. You're only going to look at the first page because why? When you have people applying to jobs, you're going to get like 10, 20, 50, 100 people applying to you depending on where and how many posts you put up about this job, right? So thinking about it from the hiring perspective, make it as easy as possible for your information to be on the page, quick to read, easy, one page only. So when you do legal size, it is cheating. So I agree with Joe. So Rachel, you thought it's hard to read. It's very wordy. Shannon said it was overwhelming. Listed him as slightly busy, but it may be due to skills appearing above experience. So needs to be organized. Lots of good info. I can't find the puke emoji. Oh God, yo, Sean, horrible. Okay. That is kind of me. We don't bully here at Beyond Film School. But Sean, you are right. Ginger is natural medicine. Ginger is just so good for you. I take ginger shots every day when I can get to the store and buy them. So back to Joe. When you print a legal size resume on letter size paper, it gets shrunk. My eyes can't handle that. Facts. And if you think about the people who are hiring people, they are older. And I mean, I'm getting to the age where like, now I'm starting to see like words on a page. I'm like, yo, if it's below 10-point font, I can't, it's hard. Y'all, I'm sorry. Like I can barely read small sides nowadays. Like I'm not even that old. So I'm just thinking like, I wear glasses. I've been wearing glasses my whole life. So when you think about it, when you get older, your eyesight gets worse. Just think about the people who are hiring you. They don't have 25-year-old eyes. They don't have 30-year-old eyes. They have either 50-year-old eyes or up. So let's just think about that for a second. You have to think about the person who's reading your resume. Okay, Owen, I was told to be truthful with my first part. I mean, true. I mean, Sean, your facts. My first response, I mean, yes, it was mean, but possible to get it like a writer, too much info. So yes, I did ask for an honest response, and he gave it. So my first impression is the same first impression that you guys gave, and the reason why I did that is because a lot of people think that regular people's opinion don't matter, right? So if you were to take your resume and give it to any person, literally any person, and I tell everyone this, and this is an exercise I do in my Set PA training class, I look at everyone's resume and I tell everyone to give a first impression of their resume for a reason, because it's universal. It is so universal. The human first impression, doesn't matter what field they work in. They could be a doctor, they could be a fucking mechanic, a teacher, it doesn't matter. They could be a barista, but if they're gonna look at a resume, they're all gonna be like, oh, this looks pretty, this looks organized, or that looks like a hot mess. So people know, because they're a human being, people know what organized looks like, they know what pretty looks like, they know what disorganized looks like, they know what these things look like. So it doesn't matter if you just give your resume to anyone and say, hey, what do you think about this? Like, what is the format? Like, does this look easy to read? Does it look pretty? They will give you an honest answer, and this could be anybody. So I would say, for anyone that's watching this and you didn't submit your resume, and you're like, what do I do with my resume? If you can't get to my film resume, my workshop, or you can't get to this next live review or something, take it to anybody and say, hey, what do you think about this? Now, we can't really get to the nitty-gritty of like, oh, what's valuable in the film world or not, but they can help you with your format. And when you conquer your format, that's the big thing. The format is what is going to get the eyes on the paper to stay there. So just think about your format and think about just asking anyone, hey, what do you think about this piece of paper? Like literally, I'm not kidding. Like really I can take my resume to my dad and be like, hey dad, and my dad's like a truck driver, y'all. And he would be like, that's so nice, that's okay. Or like, he would be like, oh, this looks kind of like my dad would be brutally honest. And he'd be like, Amber, you gotta fix this up. So literally anybody, doesn't matter what field they work in, have someone look at it. So Alex, just to jump into your resume. Now, I like how there are different colors, and it doesn't bother me that there are different colors. There's brown at the bottom, there's blue in there, you have a little bit of red, and I would stick to one color, maybe two. That's it. Just two. Other than that, then it gets maybe a little bit too much for us to take in, even though it's used seldomly. Okay, so that's my first note. I don't mind the color. Stick to one or two colors at the most. Okay, I'm gonna bring in my tea a little closer. So, now you have your link there. Like we've already talked about the link. We've talked about having your links to your website in the email. You only have your website on here. You don't have a phone number or an email on here. Just wondering why you don't have your email or phone number on here. Just curious, Alex. It's just curious about this. Okay, but while you're answering, because there's like a delay between when I ask and when you guys actually receive this information. So, profile. I'm a hardworking and enthusiastic individual searching for work as a runner, PA, or AD. I'm an experienced runner and AD. My long-term goal, okay, take out I'm experienced runner or AD because your experience is going to tell me. I don't want to know what you're experienced in your profile. Does that make sense? Because you're going to tell me with your experience section. So you don't want to repeat yourself because we want to make sure you can reserve that space. My long-term goal is to become a producer. I have produced several freelance projects, including short films, documentary music videos, commercial content, and frequently work for... Okay, so the one thing with your profile is you're searching for work as a runner, PA, and AD. My long-term goal is to become a producer, but then you go on to tell me that I have produced several freelance projects, including short films. So for me, you're already a producer in my eyes. You've produced things. Does anyone else think that? Because I think that how to describe this? When someone wants to be a director, or when someone wants to be a writer, or for me, I consider myself a first AD because I have done first AD work. Even though I'm a DGA second, I'm working on gaining my days to get to the first AD level, right? But I don't not call myself a first AD because I have the skills. I know how to fucking run a set. I can schedule, and I'm like really good at being a first. Well, I'm not really good at being a first, but I think I am a first AD, even though right now I work as a second in the DGA. But I'm not going to not call myself a first. Does that make sense? So when people are like, oh, I want to direct, and they've directed a couple short films, then they're like, well, I'm not a director. You know what I mean? So it's like either you are or you're not. You have the experience or you don't. And if you've already produced music videos, short films, documentaries, and commercial content, you're a producer in my eyes. And I think maybe that might be you're selling yourself too short, maybe. I'm not sure. But you do tell me in your writer and producer of, naive filmmaker, like you have your own company, basically, it looks like. So your resume is telling me very different things, and I think you need to separate them. So you tell me two very different paths because the AD track and the producer track, while some think that they are on the same track, they're not. Being a producer, being an AD are two different, very, very different things. They're very different realms. We deal with different things. Like we may work together. I work with my producers all the time as an AD, but like I'm not dealing with what producers deal with, right? So I think it would behoove you to make sure to do two different resumes. And one should be focused on AD, PA work, right? Because that is the same track. And then another one is going to be showing off your producer skills and your producer resume and like your, that part of it. Putting it all on one is creating this very overwhelming, contradictory resume that is in front of us right now. So your skills section, let's move on to that. So I hope that was clear, Sean, or Alex. So I hope that was helpful in a way. The reason why it's overwhelming is because you're adding everything. And as people, we are multifaceted, right? And I've talked about this before. Like me, I do different things. Like I am an AD, but also I make videos. I'm a content creator. I'm an entrepreneur, whatever, beyond film school and a whole lot of other things, right? But on my resume, you want to make sure that you look like an expert in one thing. Because for some reason, even though we know as human beings that we are multifaceted with different experience and disciplines and things that we can do and things we love to, engage in, we always want to look at a resume. We want to see one thing that you're good at when we're hiring people. When I'm hiring a PA, I don't care if you want to be this, you're working toward whatever prop things. Like, I want to know that you have PA experience and you want to be a PA, or you're working toward being an AD. And you can also be working toward something else. But in my mind, I want to make sure that you're focused on the track that I think you should be on based on the position I'm hiring you for, which is really, really dumb. It's like about how we look at other people and how we look at ourselves, right? So when we look at ourselves, we know that we are multifaceted. We are very complex beings. But when we look at someone else, we want them to be very organized and expert in one thing. It's a very binary thing when we look at other people. So on your resume, make sure that you are looking as if you are an expert in one thing. Because when you're an expert in one thing, your chances of getting hired for that position go up very, very exponentially. Like percentage-wise, it goes up a lot. When you express that you are dipping into all different types of fields, even though we know you are as a person, like you could be working in camera one week, the next month you might be editing something, the next month you might be, an AD on something, or producing something the next year. It doesn't matter. We know that you're working on different things, but on your resume, you want it very focused, very cut and dry. It is very, very laser focused on one path, one thing. So that is probably a major note I will give you for this resume. So your skills section is huge. It is huge, and it's very overwhelming. When you have experience, I feel like you need to make sure your experience is first, and then you jump into your skills, right? I feel like maybe people might agree or disagree with me on this one, but oh my goodness, enthusiastic, dependable, and hardworking. You put 3 things with one bullet. What is happening? Okay, working in large teams with many departments. DBA certified, experienced AD. So take that out. Experienced AD, you keep saying you're experienced runner and AD, but you're going to tell me in your experience. So don't tell me in your skills section. You never want to repeat yourself, because the real estate on your one-page resume is like so high. Like it's prime real estate. You want to make sure that you don't repeat yourself. It's like very, very valuable. Every line, every character on your resume is, you got to be very selective with it. So you do not want to repeat yourself. Okay, so writing call sheets. I don't say about writing. I would say creating call sheets. That's just me, though. I don't know the other ADs out there. Joe, how you feel about that, since you got way more second AD work than I do. But we create call sheets. We don't just write them, okay? I'm just saying. Creating call sheets, writing risk assessments, writing ethics assessments, creating budgets. See, you said create budgets. Well, we create call sheets too. I'm just saying. Okay, locations management, editing on DaVinci Resolve, cinematography, camera operating, experienced, photographer, stills and beats, yeah, social media, brand awareness. Oh my God, I can't. Okay, directing small productions. If you told me you're a director somewhere down the line, take that out. Like anything you have in your experience section, take it out. Casting and working with actors and SAs, working with children actors and SAs, supporting artists on features and HTV. Oh my goodness, proficient with movie magic, budgeting, and scheduling. You already told me that you know how to create budgets. So I know you're talking about your software, But you have to break all this up. Experienced administrator, writing and correlating production files, working in studios and on location. I feel like that's a given. Take that out. Screenwriting with final draft. Producing commercial content, producing short films. So you told me that you were a producer of music videos and commercials and short films, and then you tell me again in your skills section. Just going to say, stop repeating yourself. Be very, very selective. You have to stop repeating yourself because you're just wasting your space. So there's like, when you say proficient in movie magic, budgeting, scheduling, that's your software. You really should just be listing the software. You don't really have to be like, screenwriting in Final Draft. I know what Final Draft is. It's a screenwriting program. Do you see what I'm saying? So you don't have to overdo it, because here's the thing. The person who's hiring you for a certain position that you're applying for in this regard will know what those things are. Like, I know what Da Vinci is. I know what movie magic, budgeting, and scheduling is. I know what, if you're creating call sheets with movie magic, yes, I know what that is. You know what I mean? So you don't need to say, like, I created call sheets with Excel. I created schedules with movie magic. You don't need to do that. So then we get into your experience. Now, I'm going to talk about the format really quick, because your profile, your skills, and your experience, they are not the same. They are not aligned properly. They're like on different lines. Experience looks like at least 2 points bigger than skills and profile. Your category header should be the same size and format throughout your resume. Let's see, floor runner, production runner, second assistant director, first assistant director. I mean, you have, let's see. You're using dashes, but then you use dashes again, and then again. But you don't need those dashes, because the dashes to me mean that it's a new position. But what you're doing is, like, Sky Art Films is like your production company or whatever, right? The person who might have, like, the production company attached to that project. I would put that at the end, and then I would put the name of the project. It's my shout. Like, that's the name of the project. Again, italicized and in quotes. That should be moved to the middle. And then, like, the production company I don't really care about, but I put it on the other side. But also, what I will say about this is that, why is all of that bolded? All of it's bolded. Therefore, all of it kind of just bleeds in together. So nothing is popping out. Right? Chad is right about this. You're not sure where to look first, right? It's very confusing. You're like, where am I going? And it's like, what's happening is that my eyes get stuck on the page, but not in a good way. Where, like, usually my eyes get stuck on a page to keep reading, but now you're running into the problem of, like, where do I go? Where do I go next? I'm not sure. Whereas, like, if someone is confused and they don't know where to go, they're just going to skip your resume, and we don't want that. So the dashes gotta go. If you're gonna use the dashes in experience, like, it's just gonna be for the position, and then all the following information does not need to be dashed. So I'm not sure why it's like that. Okay, so writer, producer at the NYC Filmmaker, and then you go into paragraphs. I never want to see paragraphs unless it's your profile, your personal statement, your objective, which also it is very long, your profile. It is very, very long. And I'm not sure why it starts, there's like a big indentation from profile. Because if you think about it, the paragraph should start in the same line where enthusiastic starts, right? Because profile is there. It should align properly. Really, if you think about it, it should align properly. And if it doesn't, like, you have to make it work somehow. Like, it's really kind of off. Or make it go underneath profile, like go all the way to the edge, if that makes sense. Go to the edge of profile. See, I'm really, like, I keep going back and forth. It's just like I'm trying to, like, be consistent with my review, and I keep hopping back up and down. I'm so sorry, but that's how my brain is reacting to this resume. So you say the NYC Filmmaker, and then you say it again. .com is my freelance production brand that specializes in making of short films. So here's the thing, is that this goes back to me telling you to make 2 resumes, where One resume should be your writing producing one, and another resume should be your ADPA one. Because it's like, if I'm trying to hire you as a PA or an AD, I don't care that you're a writer producer, right? It goes into the whole like that one thing. Make sure you're a master of one thing. And then you talk about your clients. It all runs together. It's just too much for me to like, and then producer credits. Like my producer credits would definitely be bulleted, and they would follow the same format as my experience, actor and supporting artist. I don't really know what you mean. You were an actor in that, and you were a supporting artist in that? Like you were the actor? Is that what you're saying? Because I'm not sure where this goes. Because if you're an actor, I don't want to see, because you're making a resume to cover everything. You need to definitely divide this out. Especially thanked in various productions. I don't think I want to see that either. Hospitality, theater management, working management positions as various high-end restaurants and theaters. The role included managing large teams and liaison with different departments to deliver outstanding customer service. I don't mind that I have that, but I'm so exhausted by this point, I don't care. It's really tough. I'm sorry that I am reacting to this, unfortunately, like this, the way I am. Apologies for being so harsh. But then you put references upon request. We don't want that because you can put that in your email. I feel like when you put a line on your resume, I think it's assumed that if they want references, you can give them. And if you want to make it known, you don't have to waste the line on your resume. And then the line below that, if anyone could see the line before that, it says, in accordance with GDPR regulation, I give permission to the recipient to keep this CV on file. I don't want to see that on your resume. I understand what you're doing. Also, I've never seen this on a resume. But I think maybe you can put that in your email signature. Probably not on your resume. I think it's just something that's taking up space and you don't want it. I think this definitely has to be reworked, and you need to separate out your resumes, and then we can take a look at it next month when I do another review, because this is very overwhelming. There's too much information. Would I hire you as an AD? No. And that was what your goal was at the start of the profile, right? You tell me that you're an experienced AD, but you only have 2 credits, right? There's 5 episodes. But I miss out on that because I've gotten through so many things. You keep telling me you're an experienced AD. You keep using the words experienced AD, but then you only have 2 credits. And for me, I just feel like you're almost bullshitting me, which is kind of like if you're trying not to. But for me, I'm like, I don't believe that you're an experienced AD. You keep telling me you are, but I don't believe it, right? I mean, if you want to expand your AD experience, then I would list out the episodes, and then it would look like you have experienced AD, and then you don't have to keep telling me you're an experienced AD. You want to tell me you're an experienced AD without telling me by what you're going to put in the experience section. Or telling me that you're experienced in this. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, the experience section is there for a reason. I don't know if anyone agrees with me on this one. I feel like this resume has taken a lot of energy out of me to try and look at it. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, unfortunately. So, Alex, if you have any questions, I'm happy to work with you on this 100%. But once you start to separate, I think you'll have very nice aspiring. Right. I think, Joe, you're right about your instead of experience, use aspiring, because but then also experience and aspiring are 2 very different things. Where it tells me that you're not experienced but you tell me that you have experience. So it's like it's the wording has to be. It has to be very, very selective on what wording you use. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky, I think, for you to get a resume, but you have to have divided out, because I know everyone wants to just make one resume and tell everyone what you've done, but you're going to end up hurting yourself and not getting jobs, because the reason why I wouldn't hire you is because I like to hire ADs that like being ADs, and their passion is to be an assistant director, and that is very rare to come by. I understand people have different goals, where they like being an AD, but they want to be a producer one day. But for me, this tells me that you are more invested in being a writer, producer. Therefore, I would not hire you to be a PA or an AD because I feel like you don't really want to be in that position. So, and that comes into play a lot when people are hiring people for PA positions, AD positions, or whatever, where it's like, well, you really want to do this, but you don't, like, for example, I don't know if you can really call her a friend of mine, really, not really, an associate of mine. She works in the theater world, and she kept saying she wanted to go back to theater. She was being a PA for a while on TV, and she kept telling everyone, I want to go back to theater, I want to go back to theater, I want to go back to theater, because what happened during the pandemic, the theater shut down, right? Broadway shut down. So all the theater people kept like infiltrating like the film industry. We're all like, the fuck out of here. Like the film people are like, you're only here because theater is not happening right now. And there was like a real big animosity between people who were working in film, and theater people kept like coming in and trying to take all the jobs from like PAs who want to be ADs and producers and directors down the line. And the theater people are like taking their jobs, where we're like, what's happening, right? So as the years went on, 2021, late 2021, and then earlier this year, 2022, she kept telling people she wanted to go back to theater. And she was a paperwork PA. And then she was like a first team PA. She was a first team runner and all these things. And it came to, her name passed in when I was hiring staff for a show. And they're like, hey, how about like she can be our paperwork PA? And I was like, she doesn't want to be in film. She wants to be in theater. Therefore, if she gets a job, if she gets hired, or she gets like an offer from a theater job, she's going to be like deuces, where it's like, I don't want that possibility, right? People who are hiring folks don't want to deal with turnover, right? And that's the hard truth of it, is that if I find out that you don't really want to be in this position, and then you get an offer from someone else and you're just like so easy to quit on us, that's not something that's attractive for someone who's hiring people. That's not attractive to us. So that's just something I think that you should look into, whereas you don't want to create doubt. Does she, like, going back to the paperwork PA that wants to be back in theater, is she a good worker? Probably. When I worked with her before, she was no problem. She works hard, but she just created that doubt in my mind. And I don't want doubt when it comes to the people I'm hiring. And that's probably a good lesson for everyone to think about when you're oh, I want to put all this stuff on my resume. You want to make sure that person knows that you're dedicated to that position you're applying for, and you will finish that position. Not like be so, not wishy-washy, or you want to be so, I guess, not a flake, but really it kind of would create that like you're a flake and you're going to go and you're going to like dip out when a better opportunity comes around, or you're like, oh, I got hired to be a producer. And I think the only time it's really accepted is when you're in the DGA and you were a PA, and I've told ADs who hired me as a key PA, where I said to the first AD, I said, hey, I will work on this thing, but if I get AD work, I will take that AD work. And they respect that because it's the same realm, but like, why would I not take a $700 day job versus a $200 day, right? Like any AD would understand that for PAs who are like moving up, right? So this brought on a lot of good conversations, I think a lot of good topics when it comes to a resume like this, because a lot of people have this type of resume and they struggle with it because they have to break it up, and you don't want to create doubt in the person that's hiring you, thinking that you're not going to really be dedicated to that position if you were to get hired, if they were to consider you. So this is not a winning resume, unfortunately, because you're telling me that you are looking to work as a PA runner or an AD, but then you're like, yo, but I'm really a producer and a writer, and I have experience as a producer and writer. So it just means to me that you're not really going to be dedicated to whatever I'm trying to hire you for. Okay, so Sean, let me open up yours. I'll open the chat really quick. I don't know what you guys have thoughts about that or anything, because I know I feel like it got really dark. All right, let's see. I'm going to put... Oh, I gotta blank his stuff out. Hold on 1 second. Moments away, guys. Moments away. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna keep your last name because your last name is in your thing, right? Or you know what? Oh my goodness. Okay. right, Sean. Okay, here we go. Oh, I feel like I really tore you apart, Alex. I apologize because I really went gosh, okay. I'm not sure where to look first. Yes, Chad. It kind of looks like a scientific formula or a recipe. Tailor your resume to the job. You are allowed to have multiple resumes on file, one for producing, one for directing, another for being paid. Of course. 100%, Joe. My resume actually only listed about 35% of the work I've ever done. I omitted all the grip, gaffer, and student film director. Exactly. So that's a good point that Joe brings up, because on my resume, I have a lot of different experience. I've been an editor. I've been head of acquisitions distribution. I've been a film trailer editor. I've been in PR. I've done a lot. I've been in broadcasting. I've done a lot of different things. I directed my own short films. I could put that on there. You know, I've been in my own short films. I've been an actor. So, like, I have a lot of different stuff, too. So, when it comes to, like, my AD resume, like, all that's not on there. You know what I mean? Like, all that's definitely not on there. So, I also did all my reality TV jobs. Yeah, me, too. I actually don't put reality TV on my resume, either. Like, I just put, like, because I did this a couple of pilots in California. I don't know. Shit was crazy when I did reality. I was like, I don't know what is happening. I think it was, like, a couple of days. It was only a few days. It was enough for me to realize I don't ever want to do reality. Naive filmmaker. That's really great info. Thanks so much. A few CVs is definitely a good move, and I'll look over the formatting this evening. Yes, for sure. So I'm glad you took away a lot. It was a little rough, but that was my honest feedback. So I think for everyone that submitted their resumes, thank you for submitting your resumes, because I think that is actually pretty brave. It takes a lot of courage to be like, let me put my resume out to the public and show everyone, because it's kind of it's a vulnerable spot, because your resume, no one ever sees other people's resumes. And this is why I love doing this, because you get to look at different styles, different formatting, how other people are creating their resume. And ultimately, if you can give the overall impression of it, all it is going to do is help you get a better resume. So everyone who gave your resumes thank you so much for that. Like, it takes a lot. So we're going to look at Sean's, because I think, Sean, you had yours, I believe yours was the first time, I think, in October. I don't know why I think everyone's in October. Let me see. Okay, let's put this one here. All right, we're going to resize this a little bit. I kind of made it a little smaller. Wait, is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, let's see. So, I don't remember what your other resume looked like, Sean. I don't remember what it looked like, but I love the purple and the gray, because I think, like, the gray in this and the bold of the black, but you know what? Certification is that weird green. That throws me off. So make that certifications, make that gray, make it match all the other ones. And maybe that might have been a weird mistake or something, a weird formatting issue or something. But make certifications gray like the other stuff, because I do like your use of gray and purple and the icons. I love that. Yeah, so I was going to say, like, your resume from before, I'm like, I don't believe it looked anything like this, right? So, okay, good. We're on the same page. So, personal profile, I have experience with working with scripted format from pre to post-production. I don't know why that got really wordy for me. Working with scripted format that's kind of, I have experience with working with scripted format from it gets a little wordy. It's a little wordy. Let's try and condense that down a little bit. I have experience with working with scripted format from pre to post production, as well as working in high intensity live sports broadcasting. I am interested in a position that will help me develop and expand my creative side that I hope will lead into a career of writing and directing. Okay, I mean, I feel like you're telling me your experience, which, again, my main thing with Alex was him telling me how experienced he was, but you told me something that I wouldn't know from your work experience, and that is the difference, right? You told me something a little bit different about it. So you're telling me that your experience with working with scripted format from pre to post production, but you're not telling me that in your work experience. So it's like, it's a little bit different, but I don't know why I'm more forgiving in this one for some reason. Like, I'm like, oh, that's fine. But on the other one, I was like, stop telling me that you're experienced, right? I don't know why. I think that if you take out the first sentence, working high intensity live sport, I think I would start there. I'm interested in position. I think I would just take out the first sentence. Like, experienced working in high intensity live sports broadcast. I'm interested in position with, I think, yeah, if you take out I have experience working with scripted format from pre to post production as well as working, take out the first sentence, and I think your personal profile would be like 50% better. Like, I would like that a lot better. I don't mind that your work experience has the centered format. It makes your experience stand out from the rest of your resume, which is good. I usually kind of don't like when things are centered like that, but I accept it in this one for some reason. I don't know why. So I think the one thing, let me just check how much space is here. So, okay, I think I maybe cropped it a little bit more. Let me look at this really quick. Let me look at your original resume really quick too. Not your original resume, but your resume here. I want to make sure how much space is on. Okay, so I cropped it down a little bit. Maybe if the purple, you didn't give it so much space, I would probably make it, just a little bit less wide or tall. Wide is this way? Tall, like a little less tall, just slightly less of the purple block, just slightly less. Or I don't mind the purple. Maybe like something that might be not too intense, but I don't know. I'm not bothered by it because you have the gray, which like mutes it a little bit, so that's fine. I'm just like being really picky right now. I don't know why. Okay, so work experience, office PA, additional set PA, and TX controller, sound mixer, office PA. Like, I like how those are bolded and everything else. Like, it's easy to read. It stands out. It pops so much better than the last time. Feature film, Joyride, see that they're italicized. It's in quotes. It's lovely. UPM, and you have, okay, so what I would do for your UPM first AD and second AD, put that line. Y'all know what line I'm talking about. Not the dash or the slash. It's like the straight line. That's how I separate out that information to help organize the first, or even a comma or something to make sure it doesn't bleed into each other. So just, and you have the space to space it out just a little bit. So I would just space that out just slightly. But also, if you're an office PA, the first AD and the second AD, were you working closely with them? Because not normally. Your close contacts when you're an office PA would be your production coordinator or your production secretary or your assistant production coordinator. Not necessarily your first AD and the second AD. So you should know that. Let's see. Additional set PA, feature film. So you were an office PA and you were an additional set PA on the same movie. Now I'm confused how that worked out. Did you like switch positions or like, yes, it's called the, yes, Joe, yes. I'm like, I have no idea what that symbol is called, but Joe knows what I'm talking about. Okay, good, great. So I don't mind, but now I'm confused. Like, I'm sure when someone looks at your resume, they're going to be like, oh, maybe he went from office. Yeah, maybe a semicolon. I think maybe a comma is even fine. But that pipe, though, I love the look. A space on both sides of that line is so, so good. But Jono knew what I was talking about. So, yeah, interesting how you go from office to additional. I'm interested to know more about that. So, live sports broadcasting, Dancing with Tina, body, like all those are fine. I have no problems with any of that. Broadcasting production skills, Cary College. Broadcast, was that your major? Or I don't know why I'm confused by that. Why am I confused by that? Certifications. I think this is fine. So I'm talking about the job position movie title. Like, I think the fact that you use a dash, I'm not mad at it. Like, I like the way it's formatted. I don't mind it. But I'm saying use the pipe where you're separating the UPM, the first AD, and the second AD out. I think I'd rather see that, like, separated out with the pipe. So I was mainly an office PA, but I was brought in for the night shoots as we were there as unpaid interns. I was mainly an office PA, but I was brought in for the night shoot. Girl, you were like Jesus. Okay. You were like working a lot then on that job. There's got to be a way. Because someone's going to be like, how did you work both positions? I'm just interested now. I'm like, oh man, how do we solve this problem, y'all? Because that is your experience. But how do we not confuse the reader about this? I feel like it might have to be one or the other. I think you have to choose one or the other. Either you are an office PA or you are additional set PA. Whatever is more valuable to you to show your experience, whatever is more valuable, you have to pick one. I think maybe, yeah, Joe has a really good suggestion too. Office PA days, additional PA nights. I mean, maybe that could be the solution too. That's a good suggestion as well. This is very interesting, Sean. I think the education, I kind of just want to see skills somewhere. You have your certification, which is fine. Office training for AV sector, manual head. All this is fine. Certifications are fine. I want to see skills somewhere. Does anyone else want to see skills somewhere? Joe, what do you think? I feel like I want to see a skills section. Your education section is like really big. Maybe you like put education on one side and skills on the other side in that section, and like you do like a quick like 6 bullet column there on the other side of education, maybe just to add a little bit. Because here's the thing with this resume is I just want to see slightly more. I like the lines that you use. I love the format. The format's so much better. I do love it. I just want to see something. Yeah, I want to see something more. I want to see more. I would like to see some type of soft skills somewhere on this page. That's all I want. And I think it might be in the section of education. Divide that up. You don't even have to put a line or anything like that. Just put like education and then skills. I think would be a good suggestion. I just want something. I want something on your soft skills. Just want something. Let's go to the chat. Let's see. What are we applying for? Right. I think Joe's right, where it's like, if it's an office PA position, then you put office. Then if it's a set PA, then you set PA. I think that is the right call, 100%. Also in the COVID department for a couple days and was originally put in the accounting department Floater is what the crew called me when I worked in the ADs and locations. It's weird. So you kind of dipped into a lot. But don't call yourself a floater you probably could call yourself a floater PA, and that might invite more questions that they have for you, and they'll say, hey, what else did you do? As a floater, what did you do? So I think that might invite a little bit of a conversation starter for you when people are interviewing you. That might be something. So I would either put, depending on where you're applying, if it's whatever position, or then you just put floater PA. One of the two. I think that's a really good solution. I think we work together to get the solution for the best portion on his resume. So Chad suggests put to education at the bottom. I do look at it, but usually last the final box to check. Yeah, exactly. So education should be at the bottom. If I put down what others called me, I would have an NSFW resume. Okay, so yeah, education, certifications, so I think that's a really good suggestion, like maybe switch the two, but I definitely want to see skills somewhere on this because you don't have that many credits in your work experience. So like maybe definitely put a skills section in here somewhere or column or something. That's all I'm suggesting. I think overall this is like mountains better. Mountains better? Mountains. I think I was searching for a sentence there that maybe didn't process in my brain correctly, but I think this is a lot better than your last resume. So like kudos for improving it, and I'm glad that the resume review actually helped. I feel like this is a way better format. It looks way more organized and things are popping out way better. So I love it. The use of color, everything, and the gray. Like I love when people use gray and then the bold black. For some reason, when you're using the gray as the category headers and then you have a bold position, I just love it. I don't know why. It just goes very well together. Okay. So I've been on this stream for 2 hours. We did 7 resumes. So if anyone has any last questions, I just want to say thank you once again for joining me on my December film resume review. I appreciate it. So we'll do any last minute questions. Anyone has questions about the film industry or anything like that. But otherwise, if we can get it in 30 seconds, I want to wrap this up. I have a lot to do. I have Christmas cards to mail out. I know it's December 18th and, oh gosh, the 16th was when, right? It's the 18th. So the 16th on Friday was when I gave people my Amazon list and they were like, yo, Amber, who do you think we are? But I have Christmas cards to send out. I think I have gifts coming that I have to like start wrapping, and I have a lot. Hopefully I'm gonna go for a run. So I think after this, I'm gonna go for a run and get like the last hour of daylight that I have in New York here, New York, New Jersey. Let's see the chat. If I am doing columns, would it look good if I put certs on one side and skills on the other? I think that would be fine if you did that like that, Sean. I think it would be totally fine if you did it like that. Opinions on landscape resumes. Joe, I have never seen a landscape resume before. Wait, have I? I think there was like one person that I've seen a landscape resume for. But I think it would stand out a great deal. I think it would stand out a great deal. It really, really would. But like, honestly, I'd be like, what? I would be interested to see what you come up with if you make a landscape resume, Joe. Rachel, these resume slides are so helpful. I've gotten improvements to make, so until next month, LOL. Thanks, Rachel. I am so glad that I'm able to help you guys. This is why I do what I do. And next year, oh my goodness, I can't believe 2023 is happening in like the next couple weeks. I can't even believe it. But next year, I will be having my journey from PA to DGA AD video. I've written it. I just have to make it. I have a couple of things that I'm going to be putting as videos. I don't know I don't know what videos I'm going to be making for next year. I have no idea where Beyond Film School is going, but a couple of cool things I did this year is like creating my Set PA kit, making the resume workshop this year. I've added so many different educational things that I really appreciate, and my tried and true, my in-person Set PA training class is happening in February. That has been the kind of like the start of Beyond Film School. So I have had so many big things happen in 2022 for Beyond Film School, and like the walkie kits and the Set PA kits and just like the book reviews and partnering with like Film Pin Society and On-Set headsets, which they sent me a thing, which I feel like I should probably do a giveaway. They sent me all this stuff. I'm like, what do I do with all the stuff? On-Set headset, they sent me this like really cool case, so I think I just actually might do a cool giveaway, and they sent me like a surveillance and stuff like that, which is like, I mean, if you're looking for gear, On-Set headsets, I have a code for that. I believe it's BFS 10, I believe it is, but it's in my video thing. I should probably just find, and they gave me like a walkie caddy and stuff, and I don't use walkie caddy, even though these are really cool. I see them a lot on set, the walkie caddies, but I don't use it because I put my walkie in my back pocket. Therefore, this is kind of like null and void. And I also got a book, which I already had this book. They sent me this book. So I feel like I want to give away this book because I have all the PA books. I've done my review. I should just give it out. Like, whoever wants this book, let me know, and I'll send it to you for free. Just like tag Jessica Dean Rose, and she has an Instagram, and I love her. She puts like the Set PA kits on her Instagram, which I think is just so lovely. I just love sharing it. I just feel like she's done such a great job with her second edition for the Set Production Assistant's Guidebook, How to Survive on Set. I think it's just really, really lovely. So I think I might do a giveaway maybe in the new year, or maybe whoever wants this book, let me know. I'll send it to you. Like, if you guys want these Set PA books, I have all of them. So, like, happy to give them away. Because when I do my Set PA book reviews, I actually do read the books. I read the books even though I'm experienced in film, and I think that's what makes my reviews. People are like, they have no idea that I actually read the books, and I have a real good opinion about them, and like, not good opinion, but like a well-informed opinion about the books and like the style and how it can help people who are starting out in film. So I'm here to give you guys free things if you want them. Okay, let's see. There's a couple of things are happening in the chat. Okay, landscape resumes stand out and fit onto a computer monitor, so I heard it helps. I haven't seen it done, like, really, but I would be interested to see a landscape resume. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to seeing them, but I mean, anyone who does a landscape one, why not, right? Let's see. I'd only do that on size OA paper and frame it. Thanks so much, everyone. Hope you enjoy the holidays. Thank you so much, Naive Filmmaker. Alex, thank you so much for submitting your resume. I feel like I really tore you apart, but like I know you took it in stride, and you're just gonna come back with a really, really good resume. Interview people who have different roles and ask them about their journey. I think that is something I do want to do, but also I think interviewing people, I feel like sometimes maybe, they're not famous or something like that. So like they may not want to hear from these people unless they're like super famous or whatever. Because I did have a few interviews last year. Like, for example, I interviewed Frank LaFrazia from the electric department, where he told me all about the electrical department, which was awesome. I love talking to him. And I talked to Eric Lapointe, and when he told me all about distribution. So I have done some interviews. I don't know. I mean, the editor interviews as well. I did those during the pandemic, and I think they do well for really informing people. So maybe I will tap into interviewing more people. I try not to. I interviewed Daniel Scarpati about his book and his experience as well. So I think I might do more of those. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe it's just people aren't interested in seeing those. But now that you've actually said that, it kind of like inspires me to do more of that. So thank you for that suggestion. Rachel, you're reading that book right now. Yeah, it's a really good book. I think it's really good. Jessica Dean Rose is like really great. When I first did the first Set PA book review, and I like reached out and I like tagged them because they didn't know I was doing this review, and I tagged them and they were like, oh my God, you did this review, and they like shared the video and stuff like that. So that's how I got to really know Jessica and like Josh Friedman from Getting It Done. And I knew Christine Chan from Get Realisms and stuff like that. Like, I think these authors are like really amazing because they wrote the book to help the next generation. And I think that's a really good motivation to have when you're writing a book. They're not in it to like make money. They're not in it to, for the wrong reasons. And they're they just want to inform the next generation to get them more prepared on set, which I think is lovely because I wish I had these books when I first started out. I'd be reading all of these books 10, 12 years ago when I first started, 100%. Just bought it. Oh, that's awesome. So weird. That's so weird. That's like, I have this book like just sent to me, even though I have it already. And then like you guys are reading it. That's amazing. I'll have to give a shout out to Jessica and let them know that you guys are reading her book, and I'm sure she'll love all the love from me from you to her. Yo, Chad, the mason jar water bottle. Yo, this is glass. I wouldn't call it a water bottle, but this is like my signature cup. Okay, Shannon, thanks for saying that anyone is helpful. Because I think maybe me as being a content creator, I do worry about like, oh, since it's not Roger Deakins, no one's going to want to hear from a cinematographer. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's the like reassurance that I need as a content creator. So I appreciate that feedback. Obi-Wan, thanks everyone for being here. You helped me a lot. And Amber, you could interview some of your alumni and see how they are getting on since they would be up for it. I think that'd be really good, actually. I think that would actually be a really good idea because some of them are doing so well and they're like doing a whole bunch of stuff and kind of get like the perspective from them starting from zero, where they went, why they joined Beyond Film School, and like what they've done since. I think that would be actually really, really, that's a good idea, y'all. I'm just saying, I gotta write that down. Thanks, Sean. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream, guys. I hope it helped. And anyone who didn't submit their resumes, I'm gonna do one next month in January. We'll do another one because I feel like it's really, really helpful and I love it. So that is it for now. Maybe I'll do a live stream. I don't think I'm gonna do a live stream until, I think it's gonna be the last live stream until 2023, y'all. I'm just gonna say it. I can't make any promises because I gotta go to Buffalo. Then for New Year's, I got like a trip with my boyfriend. All that stuff's happening. It's like a whole lot's happening for the holidays, so I gotta focus on family and all that jazz. So I'll be back 2023. So I hope everyone has a good holiday and a happy New Year. Oh my gosh. All right, I will see you next time. That's it for